Hey, what's up, everyone? So, after using Comet for a while, I've realized that shortcuts are really the most useful feature of Comet. And my initial impression of shortcuts was you ask it to do specific tasks and it just repeats itself. But more and more, I've realized that these shortcuts are actually more to be looked at as context engines and not just purely repetitive tasks. So, what I mean by that is if you have a task, let's say one thing that I do very commonly is that there are a lot of emails that come in for webinars, and then I'm not able to attend a lot of these, but at least when you register with them, they will send you the transcript information and all that. So I like to do that. And shout out to ThoughtWorks, they do a lot of good webinars, including the Tech Radar that they publish. I think twice a year, which is very nice. So anyway, so when I do this, initially I was seeing a way on how to make Comet fill the form on my behalf. And one thing that I found really useful is that I created this prompt which says fill form. And what Comet does is it just looks at the registration form that's present, and it will just fill any form for you or most forms. I mean, you can imagine some things become a little more harder just by the way of how they are, but most things it is able to fill. And after doing this a few times, I realized that every time you do it, you give it a little more context. For example, the first time I had it do such a form, I realized that and actually it just finished it. So I, for the purposes of this email, I did not or this demo or this video, I changed this form so that it doesn't have my actual email. Just not don't want that to be out on the web, but or I would have showed you the confirmation email. But really what it showed me was that the first time I did this was I noticed that okay, there is most of the time these forms have some option to select or unselect promotional emails. Now I never want these, right? So I added this thing saying that whenever the form asks about subscribing to any promotional material, please say no. Then I realized that in some forms, I mean, I only had my Gmail, but in some forms, I realized that okay, they do require a work email. So at that point, I said that if only if the form is requiring a work email, give a work email, otherwise use your Gmail. So as time goes by, I kind of learn these things that that it does, and then I realize that okay, it's actually you are providing it more and more context of how you should operate. Now another thing that I have here is I also have my phone number because some forms require that. I removed that for this, but so the prompt there was use the phone number only if it's required, right? And funnily enough, the first time it encountered a form that required a phone number, it just found some phone number on the web and gave it that. And I found it so funny because I could see the reasoning. First, it tried some number, some 10-digit number, it did work. Then it said, "Oh, let me see that if I give a valid area code, will it work?" So that did not work. Then it just said, "Let me find a number on the web and put it," and then that worked. So I thought, that's fine that it did that, but maybe I can give it my phone number. That's not too bad, and I did that. So and I don't think this is really earth-shattering information for anyone, but when you are building these shortcuts, maybe abstract it to one level higher and say that okay, what is it in this task that I would do repeatedly, and then can I automate that? So another thing that I do often is this thing about birthday gifts. So my daughter is uh, 6 now, kindergarten, exciting time. We get a lot of invites to birthday parties, and then there's always a scramble. Of course, other parents give you enough advance, but uh, how can you ever do anything on time, or how can I ever do anything on time? So there's always a mad rush at the end to buy a birthday gift. So what I did was I created a prompt, and like pretty much this is what we try to do, my wife and I, some STEM gift with $50 or whatever, and focus on toys and kits that encourage building, coding, science experiments, etc. So you can probably reading this imagine that this was not, I did not come up with it right away, right? So I tried something, it worked, and I kind of refined that, and over a period of time it became better. So the task was to find a birthday gift, and then sort of thought that okay, we do this every time, so what should it do for all of these times, and then started including some generic information. And now it has always comes up with different, I mean, that's the beauty of these uh, uh, probabilistic models, I guess, that they always come up with different things. So it's not that it is coming up with the same three or four options every time. So this is a new one. I've not seen this before. So again, you see this. If you don't like something, then you just change it again. So just now I'm thinking about looking at this. There's a target near our house. So maybe it might be also a nice idea to just give it the address of that target and say that prioritize gifts from here. I want to see some gifts from here. So anyway, these type of things are very useful. Another thing that sometimes it's helpful in shopping is if I'm looking for a new product, often I'm trying to read reviews from NYT, Wirecutter, and some other sources. So all of that I already built into this prompt, and it ends with what the product is that I want to search. So in this case, there is a propane torch. This is something that I recently saw a YouTube video on a technique for pottery where they were, like burning away clay, and it's called kohiki. So that was very interesting, but I was like, okay, how much is a propane torch and where do I get one? So you can see that this is again over a period of time. I built this best product in the category, prioritize quality over everything else, buy it for life mentality, show me recommendations from NYT, Wirecutter, and do other research. So again, you can imagine I did not come up with this in one go. My first prompt, or if I remember correctly, there was something like NYT Wirecutter only, and not the rest of the things. So what it was doing was it was saying that okay, if there is nothing written in NYT Wirecutter, then I can't do any more research. So then I added this, and Byte for Life mentality was a good. I'm subscribed to the subreddit, and I like this idea that you buy once and then it lasts for a very long time. A lot of my things that I have been with me for years, so I like that. So all of these things over a period of time, you kind of build it into your prompt. So again, instead of like one specific thing, hey, search for a propane torch, you are searching for, you have abstracted that away to say that I actually need help in shopping. These are the things that I do, and give it some context around that. So again, definitely not earth shattering, but did take me some time to think about this and come up with that. So I thought it might be worth sharing with everyone else. And I have many examples of this, but I'll stop here because it kind of makes the point, I think. And would love to hear what other people are using Comet for, if you have any shortcuts built and any other things like that. So thanks all.